Just a quick recap. It all started with a 2x2, leading to the cozy village filled with light, plenty of reserves to fill our bellies with, and most importantly, a king-size bed. We could settle in and spend the majority of our time farming, collecting wood, hunting, build fortifications to keep the danger outside of our gates. But there's more to it. We must prepare ourselves for the journey ahead of us. So far, we have faced so many different challenges and obstacles. Everything from the simple dwarf and all the way to the bloody giant werewolf that spits flames when it sees you. The world is dangerous out here, and I'm afraid it only gets worse the more we discover it. But the beautiful part about Valheim is the more you challenge yourself in this dangerous environment, the more you grow your skills as a Viking. In other words, it's a good balance, give or take. At some point, even the swamp felt very scary and excruciating. Now, it feels like a second home. I'll give you a quote of the day. It happens to be one of my favorites as well. And it goes like this. They tried to bury us, but they didn't know we were seeds. Welcome to Valheim, everyone.
And we drive right into the sun. And summer's round the corner, forever young. I get lost in your eyes, longing to belong.
Before I update you on Valheim's situation, I just want to say thank you everyone for showing up and expressing your love and support for Micah in my previous video. For those of you a little late to the party, Micah is a solo developer and has been working on this low poly open world survival game. He's been developing it for the last 5 years, and recently he announced his departure from the game. It has been a financial burden for him and his family to continue on developing the game by himself. Let alone it has been affecting his mental health with stress and whatnot. So he made an ultimate decision to close the doors for repoly, and I'm pretty sure as of now the game is completely removed from Steam. But just seeing the overwhelming amount of support and wishes for Micah in my previous video has meant a lot for me as a content creator, because this is what having a community is all about, and I'm sure it meant even more for Micah, especially because he didn't feel alone in that situation and he felt understood. We had people reach out from different backgrounds and with multiple perspectives and stories. We had people reach out that were simply gamers and all the way to solo developers themselves. We even had other developers reach out and offer a hand to Micah with helping him develop his game, but unfortunately the plug has already been pulled. And I think the way it works on Steam is once you request a removal of the game, Steam then begins its process, however long it takes, and it takes it away at its own pace. But nonetheless, I'm sure your kind words really eased his transition to being a full-time dad instead. I'm sure it wasn't an easy choice for him to make, especially after feeding this dinosaur for 5 years straight. Once again, I'm so damn proud and thankful for every single person in my community, or even if you simply just came across that video, just simply being there for Micah, because trust me, he read the comments. Some say the gaming industry can be toxic, and what happened yesterday is just a pure reflection of what a gaming industry truly is and what it can be. So thank you very much, you all. Let's get on with the video.
Always you and me, for better or worse, bound together. And we danced last waltz, your pride, my faults. Thought our castles of sand were made with sand, the tide of the ocean.
For some reason, and I already know I'm going to be made fun of from here on out, but for some reason I thought that I could grow certain things in the snow biome. So I thought that I had to build myself a home located somewhere in the snow area. So I built myself a fence in order to place my crops there, but it kept on telling me that it wasn't the right environment for it. So I ended up traveling back to the plains and placing my crops there. And luckily everything I've collected from plains started to grow near my home. As the topic of this video implies, we are building and decorating our new home. I think my plains home requires some touch-ups here and there because let's face it, it's just not looking good at all whatsoever, just very basic and boring, and it requires some extra personality, if you will. My mountain home was designed with a little thought process to it. Let me explain. So the basement is solely built for raising chickens whenever I get to that part. Anyways, and the process to it is simply because I don't want them to be killed outside of my home in the snow biome, because that's exactly what will happen to them if I leave them there. I love the snow biome, but having any sort of wildlife or even a cozy lifestyle is extremely dangerous out there. So everything has to have a purpose. You also may be wondering, but Roos, why the hell would you raise chickens in the snow biome, especially if you don't have to? And honestly, there's no other reason or explanation, but simply due to the fact that I love the snow biome, and it's by far my favorite biome in Valheim. At some point, I will try to relocate everything from the starting biome all the way to the snow. Any survival game I've ever laid my hands on, I always preferred building in the snow biome, even if that complicates things down the line. Also, just a little side note, but here it is, Valheim is getting a new update. Soon, very soon. And they shared a little teaser or spoiler, if you will. And it seems like we may be getting witches in the swamp area, which is really cool. And I'm very, very excited for it. I've grown up in a Slovakian household, and I was raised listening to different sorts of fairy tales and stories. And one of my favorite by far to this day is about Baba Yaga, which is essentially a witch that would eat kids, and she lived in the swampy forest that was just very grim and spooky looking. So the fact that my favorite survival game of all time is bringing anything of that sort just makes me extremely happy, and I really can't express that enough. I do hope, however, that they will make them seem more like Baba Yagas rather than just a simple witch. Baba Yaga, in my opinion, is very creepy, definitely a lot more creepier than your stereotypical witch. But either way, that makes me so freaking happy. Imagine if we could unlock a broom and use that to fly around in Valheim. Anyways, I'm getting way too ahead of myself here. Let's just move on, shall we?
And summer's round the corner, forever young. I got lost in your eyes, longing to belong. And it felt like California, here we come. And we were driving right into the sun. And summer was round the corner, forever young.